Cryptocurrency is absolutely exploding right now, and I know it can be very, very confusing if you are not familiar with this new digital world that we're in. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what is happening with cryptocurrency, why it is happening, and what you should ultimately do. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give a price prediction that is very logical, all based on objective numbers on where I see Bitcoin going in the next 9 months, and then again in the next 5 years. So first of all, what is Bitcoin, blockchain, and altcoins? You need to understand why and what things are at their fundamental core before you can actually make logical decisions. Because if you invest into things and you don't understand why you're investing into things, that provokes you to make emotional decisions, especially with cryptocurrency. If there's tons of volatility, right? Which like the last bull market, okay, Bitcoin lost 80% of its value. Cardano lost 98% of its value. You would have freaked out and sold, and now we're hitting new all-time highs again. It's because you didn't understand what Bitcoin was, why it was valuable, and why you were even buying it to begin with. So you really need to understand what these things are before you jump into them. So what is blockchain? Blockchain is essentially just an open accounting book, okay? It just records transactions. Now, almost every currency can have its own blockchain, or it can be built on top of other blockchains. So like Ethereum, there's tons of projects built on top of the Ethereum blockchain. Okay, for Bitcoin, it has its own blockchain, so it's its own accounting book. I can see where I bought Bitcoin back in 2013, and then where I actually sent that Bitcoin to. You can actually see how much you send and where you send it to. So everything is unbiased, happens in real time, and it's completely unhackable. No one has been able to hack the blockchain. And the great thing about it is it gets stronger and stronger, because actually the Bitcoin blockchain is actually Bitcoin is the most powerful computing network on the face of the earth. It's actually more powerful than the 500 top supercomputers across the globe. So it is ridiculously powerful, and it gets more and more powerful as more people actually mine it and actually use it. So what you need to understand is the blockchain is separate. Blockchain is going to completely revolutionize nearly every industry, because it's essentially just an unbiased way to record data in real time that's unhackable. That's incredibly valuable. Going to revolutionize healthcare and real estate and logistics and nearly everything that records data. So pretty much every industry. Now, furthermore, let's jump into Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin is the big dog in the cryptocurrency market, right? The cryptocurrency market is like 160 or 1.6 trillion or something right now. Let's see what the actual, 1.559 trillion. Now, Bitcoin actually has 59.3% of that dominance in the cryptocurrency market. So its total market cap is at $924 billion, okay? Now, why is there so much in Bitcoin? What is even Bitcoin, and what is it used for? Well, a lot of people get this confused. They think it's just a currency, right? Well, what's actually the utility? Why are people buying it, and where is the value coming from? What you need to understand is currency at its core. So currency could be really anything. It's just you could barter goods. I could barter this AirPod right here for this Cartier wallet right now, right? And it's just a means of exchange. If you really want to go, understand this and how it's going to revolutionize money and stores of value, go read the Bitcoin Standard. It's a book. It'll help you understand the history of money and how it evolves and where Bitcoin can play in the whole money thing, right? So if you want to understand that, I highly recommend going to read that book. So the reason why, what the real utility of Bitcoin is right now, I mean, I can send you Bitcoin right now, we're heading into the weekend. Why can I not send you $10 million over the weekend? Well, it's because finance is a dinosaur, and it's completely inefficient and ineffective. And now cryptocurrency, and specifically Bitcoin, which was the first cryptocurrency, has made that more efficient and more effective, and has actually decentralized finance, which is such a big deal, right? We spend all this money and give all this money to banks. Meanwhile, they make everything really inefficient because there's so much regulation, and we spend so much money, right? We put our money into the bank account. They do something called fractional reserve banking, so they keep 3% of the bank account, and they lend out the money 10 times, and they're earning between a 3 and a 25% rate of return on every dollar they're lending out, which is your money, and meanwhile, they're paying you 0.01%. Okay, now what's happening with crypto is it's saying, all right, forget these banks that are making it very, inefficient for us to do business and for us to actually live life. And it's saying, hey, let's decentralize finance and let's just make everyone be a part of the bank, right? You can actually put money in crypto into a liquidity pool, and that's just one use case for it. Now that's like majority for the altcoins, but that's why everything is starting to like revolutionize finance, and that's why cryptocurrency is taking off. Now back to Bitcoin. Why is it what is it actually used for? Well, it can be used as a currency. Like I said, I've been sending money for different things, right? You can use that, but the thing is and why I don't believe it will be used in retail and e-commerce long term is because first of all, it's too deflationary. So Bitcoin is fixed. This is where the value comes into play, is there's no Bitcoin company that determines, hey, I want to have 11 million Bitcoin released today, right? It's not like the Federal Reserve where you can just go print 2 trillion and start handing out checks to everyone, including people that are on Social Security and don't actually need the money, right? So Bitcoin is fixed at 21 million Bitcoin. There's about 19 million Bitcoin in circulation right now, and there's 900 Bitcoin released a day. Now, there's a halving cycle with Bitcoin. This is just in the algorithm placed in the blockchain of Bitcoin. So there's 900 released a day. It doesn't matter how many people are mining for it. If more people mine for Bitcoin, it just gets harder to actually mine and actually be rewarded with Bitcoin. So it doesn't matter how many people are mining for it and how many computers worldwide are mining for it. Now, this is 900 released a day. Now, in about 3 years from now, that gets cut in half to 450 a day. Okay, so every 4 years, it systematically cuts supply in half. Now, over the next 150 years, it'll release all of the 21 million. So that's how Bitcoin operates. It's a very, very scarce asset. And the crazy thing about it is Grayscale, which is a Bitcoin trust, it's opened it up to nearly anyone to own Bitcoin. They pay a premium, but about a 2% premium. But it's a trust, and they actually buy more than 900 Bitcoin a day. So we're in a huge supply shock just from one company, one trust buying more than 900 a day on average. And we were seeing huge flocks of institutions and S&P 500 companies now. And now Apple uses Apple Pay to buy Bitcoin, and PayPal and Square Cash, and all these companies are flowing into it. Even Harvard and Brown and Yale have been saying they've been buying it in their endowments over the last year. And the reason is because they see this revolution, this digital revolution, right? The whole pandemic thing, it just solidified the movement from the industrial revolution to the digital revolution. Everything is turning digital, whether you like it or not. No one cares if you like things moving digital or not. That's just how the economy is heading, and that's where we're heading. So it's up to you to be a prudent investor and realize, things are turning digital. I better start accepting that fact and making the move. Okay, the number one quality of an investor, of a successful investor, is to have awareness. Okay, first and foremost, have awareness of what's going on, and then make that decision before the herd of people make the same decision. Right? That's what you need to do as an investor. So what's happening with Bitcoin is all these institutions are running into it because, well, we just went through the pandemic. We just increased money supply, M2 money supply, over 50% because we just printed trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars over the past 12 months. Now, what's going to happen to the money? Well, eventually we're going to have massive inflation. There's so many debates on, whether we're in a deflationary economy right now or we're heading into inflation, and when we're going to head into that, how much we're going to be inflated. I'll just let you know what Michael Saylor did, because he led this whole revolution into putting the store of value into Bitcoin, which is its ultimate utility. Is he thinks inflation is going to be about 15% a year. So he was looking at his $500 million that MicroStrategy had, and he's like, well, we're about to lose 15% a year. So in 10 years, I'm going to have literally nothing for all the money that we worked really, really hard for. He's like, where can I put this money? And he looked at everything stocks and bonds and all these things. He's like, well, if things don't grow more than, 15% a year, then I'm actually losing value. Even the digits go up in your brokerage account. If that equity, which most equities are priced by earnings per share, if that equity is not growing by 15% a year, guess what? You're actually losing value, even if the digit's going up, because it's denominated in something that is inflationary, which is the US dollar, right? So he said, hey, what's the best thing to do? He studied all these different assets, and he said, Bitcoin's the best thing to do. So bam, dropped 500 million in it. Then he raised another $1 billion in bonds, bought another $1 billion of Bitcoin. Now he's leading this revolution where all these corporations are like, he's helping corporations buy Bitcoin and put it on their balance sheet as a store of value. He's saying, hey, we're buying it for 100 years. We're not buying this to trade. This is not a short-term thing. We're buying it to store value. And what a store of value is it's very similar to like people use it for, in real estate because there's a fixed supply. There's only so much land, only so much buildings. People use it with gold because there's a fixed supply, right? But the thing is Bitcoin is even more fixed than that. Okay, no one can tell you what the actual supply of gold is a day. We can tell you, hey, there's 900 Bitcoin released a day, and we know for another 3 years it's going to be 900, and then over 3 years that's going to be 450 Bitcoin released a day. So we can tell you exactly how much Bitcoin is released a day, and no one can change that amount. So that is a huge value add to Bitcoin. Is it a fixed supply? And it's a fixed supply in a major revolution, which we're heading into the digital era. So this is massive. Now, what you need to understand is the store of value market, for my calculations, is about 150 trillion. I don't know what Michael Saylor is using as his calculations, but he thinks it's about 250 trillion. So if Bitcoin is in a store of let's not even use his calculations. Let's be a little bit less, I guess, more realistic, I guess, more safe with calculations. And let's say it is just $150 trillion market cap. Well, guess what? Bitcoin is at a 0.6% because it's about 900 billion. So it's about 0.6%. It hasn't even come close to hitting 1%. If it just hits 1%, Bitcoin's going to be right under 100 grand. So bam, right there, like we're already at 100 grand per Bitcoin if we, breach 1% of the market that it's in. So that's like, people say it's too late to buy Bitcoin. It's too early to buy Bitcoin. So I'm really happy you're watching this video. And if you're watching this to like 5-10 years from now, you're probably like, wow, I wish I would have taken more action. But this is what I've been saying. If you watch some of my previous videos, like people thought it was too much when it was, 7 grand for so long. And then 10 grand, it was too much. And then, 30 grand was too much. It's like, when are you going to realize that this is a long-term game? You got to make a decision to put your wealth in something that's deflationary with a fixed supply where the demand is skyrocketing, okay? It's all supply and demand based, okay? It doesn't matter if you think like, people always talk about like, value investing. Like they listen to Warren Buffett and they're like, well, where's the intrinsic value? Like, where's the intrinsic value in your US dollar? Where's the intrinsic value in your brick of gold that you're holding, right? Like, not everything has to have intrinsic value for it to have actual value. Like, I don't know when people are going to be able to make this transition from like physical goods to also digital goods and digital value. Like, I hope you make it soon because we're already heading there. So that's what Bitcoin is. Is this a store of value? Now let's talk about altcoins. What are even altcoins? Altcoins are just an alternative to Bitcoin. That's why they call them alt. It stands for alternative. So essentially any cryptocurrency besides Bitcoin is an altcoin. Now, what you need to understand about this is like programmable money, okay? I don't really see a lot of these as stores of value because the vast majority of them have companies behind them and a lot of their blockchains are set up so they can inflate them over time. So, Bitcoin does one thing very, very well, and that's all it has to do. It doesn't have to be a multi-trick pony. It can do a store of value and bam, that is massively valuable. So like people that are trying to change Bitcoin, why even like talk about changing Bitcoin? First of all, you can do a hard fork from it, which is another conversation. But secondly, like it's in a massive market. So there's no reason for anything to compete with Bitcoin. And I honestly don't see anything right now, at least competing with Bitcoin as a store of value. So these altcoins are like programmable money. They have different blockchains, so they're completely separate from Bitcoin. Now these blockchains can be programmed and you can build things on top of them. So like Ethereum, there's like ERC20 tokens, which are like different projects that build on top of the Ethereum blockchain. And these different projects and tokens do different things. Okay, so I'm not gonna get into all of the things, but let's talk about one of the most valuable things, which is smart contracts. So like Ethereum has the ability to issue smart contracts. So let's say, hey, I wish you could look at this view. I'll actually show you the view that I'm looking at, all right? We're looking at this view right here, all right? Let's say we wanna buy this building right down there, all right? And let's say that we just do this on a smart contract on Ethereum, and I'm like, hey, I actually want, let's say, you know, you have the building, you're selling it to me. Okay, we both put 100 grand, and let's just say the building's 100 grand. I would say 100 million for more realistic purposes. We put 100 million in, all right, and right when I sign the smart contract, okay, you get the $100 million, and the building's title is issued to me simultaneously. It's unbiased, and we're not paying massive fees in order to do so. That is what smart contracts do. That's one value add of some of these altcoins. So if you can think about that, wow, that's going to revolutionize not just real estate, but pretty much every area of business. That's the type of value that we're talking about. And then, like, if you heard people talk about Chainlink, what is Chainlink? It's an oracle that connects the Ethereum blockchain to real life events. So Chainlink is the oracle that actually connects that smart contract to the building, right? And that's how it actually communicates. And you know, the founder of DocuSign owns Chainlink, and he went from digital contracts to smart contracts, right? So like, there's a great team. That's why we invest heavily in our fund, and me personally, into Chainlink and Ethereum and Bitcoin, is because we see the utility. Now, here's the kicker. Here's what you need to understand is all these altcoins, they're really like their value. You're probably like, where the heck does their value come from? Well, but that's not actually being implemented. So it's really on perceived future value is where the value comes from with these altcoins. So like, that means that they truly, like a lot of them truly don't have real value right now because they're not being put to use. There's not real utility because these industries have not caught up. These like real estate industries, all these industries is going to impact have not caught up because this technology is so advanced. So how you need to look at this is, I think I mentioned earlier in this video, like for example, Cardano, which is like the number 3 cryptocurrency right now. It went up thousands of percent in 2017 and smacked down 98%. That's what happens to altcoins. They get crushed. Bitcoin dropped about 80%. So during the bear market, which is likely to occur towards the end of this year in 2021 or 2022, or the beginning of 2022, they get crushed. So Bitcoin lost, 80% of its value. Cardano lost 98% of its value. So what you need to realize heading into this this bear market, you likely need to sell a lot of the majority of your altcoins, at least. Like we're holding some Bitcoin long term, but altcoins get crushed. They get slaughtered. So I'm telling you right now, I'm going to sell pretty much all of my altcoins. I'm not holding it through a bear market. But the great news is I believe in about 5 years, these other industries are going to catch on to how valuable altcoins are, and the technology is going to catch up, and we're going to see a massive, massive value add with altcoins. So like right now, I'm using it for volatility purposes, okay, to really accumulate more Bitcoin and to accumulate more, US dollars so that I can buy more when we drop, okay? So that's what's happening. If you are like just getting into this, let me jump into like now what you should do if you, I'm going to talk to myself. All right, Jeff, you don't know anything. You're listening to Jeff Seconder right now on this video, and you're like, okay, wow, this is a big deal. It's a huge revolution. It's changing finance, changing industries. I know I need to buy something, but I really don't understand it. What do I do? If I was Jeff and I'm giving myself advice right now, I'd say, hey, why don't you just go buy some Bitcoin, go buy some Ethereum? I'd probably, let's say I have 100 grand I want to put into crypto as my exposure, which by the way, it's like even JP Morgan came out now after calling it a fraud. They say, hey, it's prudent to have 1%. The reason why you want to have 1% is because it's completely uncorrelated to other assets. If you look at the correlation coefficients to bonds and gold and precious metals and all the major indexes, Bitcoin is highly uncorrelated to nearly all of them. So it's prudent to have some of it in your portfolio. So if I was saying, hey, I want to put 1% and that 1% is 100 grand of my total investment portfolio, I want to put 100 grand into crypto, I'd put 80 grand of it in Bitcoin and 20% in Ethereum, and then I would just consistently buy dollar cost average because that reduces risk over time. It's called time diversification. So I would just buy 100 grand, and then every check I come in, I invest about 2% of the check straight into Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can set up automatic recurring buys on Binance, on Coinbase, on pretty much any exchange. So realize that that's probably the best thing to do if you are just like listening to this video and realizing, wow, I need exposure. Now, if you're more advanced, that's like, people will go like learn about trading and learn about the markets and the fundamentals behind it and market cycles and the Bitcoin halving cycle and from peak to peak, where we're heading. You can do that. You can go analyze, or you can go invest into a fund I run a cryptocurrency hedge fund for qualified clients. We have like 72 limited partners now, growing at a very rapid rate. And that's just like business owners that make a crap ton of money and they're like, hey, I want more exposure, and they end up, investing in our fund, right? You could find a fund like that. We really act as like an index because we hold 8 to 12 assets and we actively manage it. So like you could look into something like that, or you could like learn on your own and hopefully not make emotional decisions in the market.